Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, is a movie filled with emotion. Throughout the film are moments of joy and moments of sadness, moments of levity and of despair, somber tragedy and riveting excitement, heartwarming scenes of camaraderie and sobering scenes of reflection. However, there is one moment in particular that serves as a turning point, one moment that changes both the characters and the tone of the film irrevocably, a moment that hits hard for both characters and audience alike. This moment, more than any other throughout the Fellowship of the Ring, evokes a different emotion: fear. That moment is the Weathertop sequence. To quickly set the scene, Frodo Baggins, a halfling hobbit from the Shire, has been entrusted with the One Ring. When destroyed, the ring will bring the evil forces of the Dark Lord Sauron down with it. Along with his trusted friends Sam, Merry, and Pippin, as well as a protector named Aragorn they meet along the way, Frodo must take the ring to the Elven Hall of Rivendell, where it will be safe. However, Sauron has sent out his trusted ring wraiths, known to Frodo as Black Riders, to retrieve the ring from him. This course of events has brought Frodo and company to the Hill of Weathertop. The scene begins with Frodo's 3 hobbit companions cooking with a fire while he sleeps. This is critical, as the hobbit obsession with food is treated by the film as a symbol of innocence. The hobbits, Merry and Pippin especially, spend much of the first third of the film thinking about food.
What about second breakfast?
As they have yet to experience anything truly deadly. Frodo, rightfully, panics at the existence of the fire.
Come for you, Mr. Frodo.
Put it out, you fools! Put it out!
Fully aware of the dangers it brings, effectively putting out their innocence as he puts out the fire. This is the first major turning point for the scene, for it is after this moment that the danger reveals itself. That hideous screech, signature to the ring wraiths, serves as the immediate alarm bell giving the characters and the audience the audible warning of danger, instilling fear into the hearts of the characters immediately. This is then supported visually, with a wide shot from the hobbit's perspective looking straight down as 5 ring wraiths approach the summit. Peter Jackson further builds the fright in the scene with the details, surrounding the ring wraiths with fog and dead trees as they approach. By this point, the hobbits look terrified, which naturally informs how the audience should feel. That, and the music, which starts playing the moment Frodo shouts, aptly named A Knife in the Dark. Howard Shore's music here is the dominant auditory force of the scene. It's tense, and slow, and booming when it should be, matching the methodical movements of the ring wraiths. Entirely non-diegetic, the soundtrack serves as a very strong piece to Peter Jackson's fear-building puzzle, reaffirming the tension and fright the audience is meant to experience. From this point, the camera moves rapidly, and the film cuts just as rapidly between the shots, building on the sense of panic. Once the hobbits reach Weathertop, the cutting slows down a bit, and the camera begins to pan around the hobbits, letting the fear on their faces and the sound of their panting sink in while maintaining the frenzied, fast-paced style the scene had established. The scene then cuts to a POV shot from most likely Frodo, as the camera frantically pans around to a few places, representing Frodo searching for the ring wraith, and then everything slows down. Jackson pulls all the stops with the ring wraith. The faceless, hooded, armored, black-cloaked figure, reminiscent of the Grim Reaper, is already frightening, especially when placed in a setting as eerie as the ruin of Weathertop at night. In this shot in particular, Jackson goes to the extreme to make the ring wraith creatures to be feared. Like a specter, the ring wraith slowly emerges from the dark, his steps inaudible. In conjunction with the slightly longer shot and slowed camera movement, the music slows down too, all while skyrocketing intensity with the introduction of the choir. The scene then cross-cuts between close-ups of Frodo's terrified expression and the ring wraith. In these, the camera is almost always angled slightly downwards or directly at Frodo, whereas the ring wraith is shown from angles pointed upwards, making him seem much larger. Jackson also incorporates many close-ups of various parts of the ring wraith, such as his gauntlet gripping the sword accompanied by a sound reminiscent of choking, and another close-up of the ring wraith's foot as he takes a step, at which point Jackson magnifies the sound of the footstep to the degree that it sounds closer to an explosion than a normal step. All of this only serves to make the ring wraith seem more ominous and powerful, and thus to build the tension and fear even more. Following the one ring wraith, the scene cuts to a wide shot revealing all 5, a shot that, once again, makes the hobbits seem tiny and the ring wraiths huge. The ring wraiths move in unison as, in another wide shot, they all unsheath their swords. This is arguably the next turning point for these characters, as while they have encountered the ring wraiths before, This is the first time anyone has actually pointed a blade at them. After this, the camera pushes in towards Frodo from the vantage of being about chest height for the ring wraiths, as Frodo's companions are shoved off the edges of the frame. After a quick cut to show Frodo dropping his own blade, Frodo falls to the ground, at which point a new sound is introduced. A creepy, incomprehensible whispering, seemingly coming from the ring itself. After another wide shot of all 5 ring wraiths, which shows one begin to approach Frodo, the scene cuts to an over-the-shoulder shot of the ring wraith. So all that is visible is his shoulder, the blade, and Frodo in the background looking ever so small. It is also notable in this scene that the blade is visually elongated via the angle to make it seem even more menacing, along with the ring wraith itself. Following this is another shot from Frodo's point of view, this time looking at a sharp angle up at all 5 ring wraiths, creeping closer to him. Finally, once Frodo puts the ring on, everything slows once more. The music abruptly stops, replaced by a high-pitched, whisper-like sound and a constant noise similar to wind, both of which help to contrast it with the rest of the scene. This also builds the ring wraiths and the ring's mysticism, and generally enhances Frodo's terror as well as the audience's. All the while, the camera slowly pulls away from Frodo, revealing more and more of the ring wraith's true, creepy, skeletal forms, only to cut to another shot that quickly pans up to their faces. This shot is itself succeeded by rapidly cutting between a series of shots that haphazardly move around and towards and away from the ring wraith's faces. All of this, like the shots of the ring wraith's gauntlet and foot, further establish them as intense threats, something that is only bolstered by their skeletal design and outlandish noises. The scene then concludes in its final turning point with a series of close-ups of Frodo resisting the ring, his hand almost touching the ring wraiths. The ring wraith reacts, and Frodo pulls back, only to cut to the ring wraith stabbing Frodo with his sword. This is the first time a character is truly hurt. It solidifies the stakes of the conflict, it reaffirms to the hobbits just how dangerous this mission is, and it leaves Frodo with a permanent wound that scars him in more ways than one. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is permanently changed by this moment. It strips the characters of a layer of their innocence, it introduces true mortal danger, and it permanently damages Frodo, the main character. Never again is the trilogy the same. A layer of fear and an ever-present sense of danger are constant companions of the characters and the audience alike because of this moment. In the words of Sam,
How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad happened?
all of this makes it one of the most pivotal moments of the trilogy.